The Tamagamis might be the best free-to-play units we've had, but how should you build their hidden potential? How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We're back for another Dokkan Battle video. In today's video, we will be taking a look at the brand new free-to-play Tamagami 1, 2, and 3, and giving you our best recommendation for their hidden potential. So let's strap on in, and let's start by taking a look at the Tamagami number 1. Easily the best of the bunch. And of course, like every anniversary, free-to-play characters introducing a new mechanic, he and the other Tamagamis contain an EX Super mechanic, and we will be using that to base our assessment for their hidden potential, right? So Tamagami number 1 here has a EX Super skill that can be activated as long as he gets 12 or more key. It has a 50% chance of becoming a super EX super tech. So we're really going to build around maximizing that for us, right? And if he does proc it, he does greatly stack defense, which is really, really nice. Otherwise, he's just greatly raising back for the turn. So you really want to get those EX supers if you can. Right? His basic effects include attack 321% and defense 123% with a high chance of performing a critical hit, 15% damage reduction rate, and all allies 40% defense, and an additional 30% defense for 2 turns for characters who are also on the diamond category. Right, so 70% defense for 2 turns if they're on diamond category. Per diamond category ally attacking in the same turn, he gets attack defense 123% and an additional chance of performing a critical hit and damage reduction rate 10%. So that means a 60% chance to crit and a 25% damage reduction rate. For another 4 turns, he gets 20% damage reduction rate and an additional damage reduction rate 20% before attacking. So that means before attacking, he has 65% damage reduction. Starting from his 5th turn, he gets an additional key 12 and attack and 123%. I'll randomly change it. Here's to Fizz, or Fizz keys. Here's to Rainbow. When attacking, he gets an additional 123% attack, and when attacking as the first attacker in turn, an additional 123% defense, and launches an attack for 7 turn. When receiving an attack, an additional 123% defense, and when there's another Seeker's or diamond category enemy, he gets an additional key 2 and attack defense 120. So an extremely defensive character. Not only does he have a ton of damage reduction, he has a ton of, when receiving attack bonuses. On top of that, he gets 20% damage reduction from his link. So when linked with a another Tamagami, he essentially has 85% damage reduction, right? So for short fights where he can maintain his full passive, he is incredibly powerful. Now we can see here as an AGL type in the hidden potential system, he is going to naturally lean into the combo attack, meaning he can potentially get up to 40% off of his base, up to another 60% once you factor in hidden potential skill orbs. So, right, that's exactly what we're going to do. Since he procs his EX super through his super attack, every time he launches an additional super, he has a chance to do an additional EX super attack. So the plan for him is to give him full additionals, right? So as an AGL type, that's actually 20. I'm sorry, that's a typo on my part. 20 additionals as an AGL type, plus whatever you can give him on your skill orbs. So if you've been grinding out the Whis event, you've got some good additional skill orbs, give it to him. I recommend giving him anything that gives him additionals and defense. So if you got a few of those lying around, there's some good ones. I don't recommend wasting your god equips on free-to-play units, but if you got a few extra of the lower level ones, that will do the trick. The biggest thing is just pushing him to that level 30 attack, because you do want that extra chance to do the EX super, because it affects his defense, right? And it also affects the offense output. He's got enough crit that you don't really have to worry about giving him crit. They're not really useful for long fights, so that's really a non-issue. So I would just focus on building him for what he can be useful in. So again, full additionals, dump the rest into dodge for Tamagami number 1. Okay. Next, let's look at Tamagami number 2. So, like the number 1, he does have an EX super attack. His EX super attack can be launched whenever he launches an additional attack with a 30% chance for a additional super attack to become an EX super, right? And if he gets it, he raises attack and defense for 1 turn while getting an additional 30% attack and defense for permanent raise in battle. So that's really nice. So every time he procs that attack and defense, he will proc that extra 30%. So that's really good. Otherwise, he's just regular raising attack defense for the turn. On his basic effects, key 2, attack 321%, defense 123%, and medium chance of evading attack. He launches an attack that's a high chance of becoming a super attack, and all allies key 1, attack defense 20%, plus an additional key 1, and attack and 20% for 2 turns for diamond characters, right? So he's giving 40%, for 2 turns, right? So consider what you're actually giving if you're running both of these on a rotation for your diamond team. For diamond category, ally attacking the same turn, 100 attack defense, 123%, an additional 10% damage reduction, right? So if you full diamond, that's an extra 30%, or sorry, not damage reduction, 30% chance of evading. And for 4 turns from the character's entry turn, he has a chance of evading attack 20% and an additional super attack. Starting from the 5th turn from the entry turn, he gets key 12, 123% attack, and launches an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super attack. When attacking, he gets attack defense 123%. When attacking his second attacker turn, additional attack defense 123%, launches an additional super attack for 7 turns. When there's a seeker or diamond category enemy, and an additional 120. So really, really good here. This one, like, it basically works like the mini Vegeta. And so I actually made a mistake here on the Tamagami number 1. He can only activate this on his first attack. It is not continuous. You still want the additionals, right? To just continue to build his attack and deal damage, because he has high enough damage reduction per ally here. He's got over 85% damage reduction pretty much permanently. So it's, still remaining there. But Tamagami number 2, however, really leans into that additionals like the Vegeta. And it is unfortunately for his, it's only a 30%. It's a very low chance. So because the low chances on both of these makes me think these guys probably will ECA by the end of the celebration, but well, that's neither here nor there. So knowing that, right, when we look at him as a tech type in the hidden potential system, he naturally wants to lean into critical hit, getting a potential of 40% if a full investment, otherwise 60% if you go with the orbs too. And that's exactly what we're going to do, because you will notice he doesn't have any critical hit within his passive, right? He's missing. It's the only thing not in his passive is a hit. So we're gonna give it to him, right? Because no sense in doing all of what he's doing if you can't damage. Even as a free-to-play unit, you do need a way to pierce that damage, right? So we're gonna go full crit into him and dump the rest in dodge. He's getting enough additionals that he doesn't really need the additional attack compared to Tamagami number 1. But he needs the crit more. I mean, although, right, an additional attack could let him crit more or EX super more, him giving him crit is more important. So full crit with dump the rest in the dodge. And then for his orbs, right, you want to invest in anything that gives him either crit or dodge. I recommend a balance of both, right? So either on your silver or gold, whichever one you have, right? Go dodge for one and crit for the other, just to give them that little extra crit chance. If you're not that worried about it, then go full dodge for them. If you're not that worried about getting the crit chance, but definitely should consider it. You can potentially do some work if you got the crit on him. So I do recommend having the sub defense for all of them. I'll say that. So just to help as a free to play, although he is mostly a dodge unit, not that big of it. That's for the Tamagami number 2. So again, for Tamagami number 1, we want full additionals, right? Sub dodge. For Tamagami number 2, we want full crit, sub dodge. And that leaves our Tamagami number 3. Unfortunately, he's probably the worst of the bunch. His EX super requires that he be the first. His first super within the turn has to also perform a critical hit with a 70%. But with that happen, it is a 70% chance if it does crit. So it's essentially the Goku passive, right? Otherwise, he is greatly raising the turn, but this will allow him to stack his attack. Basic effects include Key 2, 321% attack, 123% defense, medium chance to perform a critical hit, damage reduction rate 30%, all allies 40% attack, and an additional 30% for 2 turns for diamond category allies, right? So 70% there. Per diamond category ally attacking in the same turn, 10% chance to crit, 123% attack def. For 4 turns, he gets an additional 20% crit and interrupt the attack. Right, so very, very helpful, right, with that action cancel. Starting from the 5th turn, he has a 30% chance to action cancel, but he does get an additional 123% attack and Key 12. When attacking, he gets 123% attack defense. As the 3rd attacker in the turn, he gets attack defense 123%, launches an additional super attack for 7 turns, and then, of course, an additional 123% if you're facing Seekers or Diamond category enemy, right? So essentially, they all work together, right? One covers slot 1, one covers slot 2, and one covers slot 3. For his hidden potential, right, you kind of want a more balanced build. You see that since he is Fizz, he's going to naturally lead into additional attack, getting up to 40 with a full investment, up to 20, up to 60 if you fully invest with your orbs. But I actually recommend a somewhat balanced build. Because he needs the crit, I do recommend leaning a little more into the crit for him with his hidden potential, just because it will help them out. But still recommend the sub defense for the orbs, right? And then sub additional for the rest of them. You could go sub dodge, and that could help him out a lot because he's not that crazy defensive compared to the other 2 who have both a dodge mechanic and great damage reduction, right? But what he does have is that action cancel, which really does help him out for those shorter fights, especially if you maintain him in 3rd slot. But I do recommend going with that critical hit, as it will assist him in getting that super. I did the same with my Goku, and I almost never miss the EX super. So I think it really does help going with the full crit investment for them. So once again, my final recommendation for Tamagami number 1, you want to go full additionals, sub dodge. For Tamagami number 3, you want to go full crit, sub dodge, or sub additional. And then for Tamagami number 2, you want to go full crit, sub dodge, or additional for your sub. Up to you, whichever you think works best. But I do think maximizing what they don't have or maximizing their EX super is the way to go. So, guys, that is it for our video. If you like the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And in the comments down below, let us know, how did you build your Tamagamis 1, 2, 3? And what do you think of them? They're pretty good monsters. I really like them. Let us know if you want to see a showcase for them. I don't normally showcase free units, but these guys might be an exception. Let us know in the comments down below if you want to see that. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching. Aloha.